shout out to me for being a multicultural, multilingual king. Here we fucking go. Let's go, boys. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Office Hours. Let me just start the event real quick. There we go. All right. How are we all feeling today? Other than Yusuf, because I know he's sad. Because that's all he ever is sad. Sleepy but good. I am also sleepy but good. I had a little bit of a bellyache. I woke up this morning at I think probably 2 or 3 o'clock. And I was like, why does my belly hurt? And it's just because I'm so hungry. So I got up and I ate. And then I went back to bed, which was kind of based. Hi, John. How was this week for you? It was fantastic. I'll tell you guys all about what I did this week. Bored, loreless, no maidens. R.I.P. Rockley. I'm sad because we are Yusuf, for sure. We definitely are Yusuf. Awesome, but sad for Yusuf. Can we get some F's in chat for Yusuf? Is John speaking from underneath a bed? I don't even know how to interpret that. Alright, so, yes, go ahead, whoever unmuted themselves. No? Okay. This week, I had a very productive week doing a lot of data analysis, prepping for some different stuff. But what I would like to show you guys is that I did a big YouTube analysis for Dr. Mike's channel. And the objective was to look at the last 3-ish months worth of YouTube data and come up with better testing protocols, because up to this point it's 100% vibes based. And we obviously can't grow a channel properly if it's just on vibes, especially considering that the last few videos. Part of me really wants to be like, is it just you guys with your third world internet that's the reason why you can't hear me well, or do I actually have an issue on my side? Because the people who are complaining, Yusuf, UK internet is straight trash. Mariam, UK internet, straight trash. Irakli, as we all know, Georgians have the best internet in the world. Olibar, his internet is very good. So, I don't know, maybe it's a you guys' problem. There is a fellow Georgian in here. The one who's got the... his profile picture looks a little bit demented. If you can identify that one, that's the Georgian. Okay, so the people who can't hear me well, if I lean closer to my mic like this, are you guys able to hear me better? Or does this still not fix your shitty internet? Yes? Okay, cool. I will keep that pose. But then it's just going to be hard for me. Let me switch my mouse to the other side. There we go. All right, let's do some spreadsheet ASMR. Let me do a screen share, and then I'll walk you guys through. This is way too tough. Hold up. There we go. Let me just get this at a good angle. All right, that's probably as good as it's going to get. You cannot submit your copies for review because I've got to review a 30-page SEO article from Irakli that I promised him I would do. So here we go. All right. Cool. No, Mariam, I won't have time to get to you. Just yeah, if I laugh, you guys are dead. I won't have time to get to you because I've got to review Irakli's 30-page SEO doc. Okay, so when we're doing any kind of data analysis, and I'm going to get deeper into this, you guys have probably seen there's a new channel. If you look in that channel, it's called Beyond Copy. I've posted just one video in there so far, but it explains how I'm going to roll out that free course because you guys are very interested in like media buying strategy, um, creative strategy, messaging strategy, like stuff like that. So we'll go super deep into all of these concepts in that course, and I'll roll that out as I have time to do it. But this is the kind of thing that you'll see in the strategy section. Because what strategy is essentially it's two things. You can launch a new offer or you can optimize an existing offer. And as the strategist, your job is to decide if the new offer is viable or not. And then if you're optimizing, finding bottlenecks and removing those bottlenecks so that you can get better performance. In this case, we're doing optimization. So this is different from launching a new offer. This is like offer exists. We're looking at data that exists to try to get better results. And the way that we do that, whenever we optimize, is we look at all of the steps of the process. So yeah, I can talk about email list management as well in the course. So thank you for bringing that up. So here we have historical data, and we're trying to find what is each of the steps of the process. This is YouTube, so YouTube is pretty simple. YouTube is someone's going to see the thumbnail, they're going to see the title, they're going to click on it, they're going to watch it, and then on the back of that, there are actions they can take. Like if we have the YouTube video leading to a lead magnet, then how many clicks from the YouTube video to the lead magnet page, how many opt-ins, right? Like you can go all the way down funnel like that. But in this case, we're only looking at front-end metrics because we want to increase the view count on YouTube. So if we want to increase the view count on YouTube, what are the variables that we can look at? We can look at the click-through rate and we can look at the watch time because those are the two things that affect how many people are going to be served the ads in terms of impressions. If YouTube sees a lot of people are clicking on this video, it means a lot of people are attracted to this. If it sees that a lot of people are sticking and watching, then it means that a lot of people are liking this content. So that's what we want to do when we're looking at any kind of data, is just identify what those points are that are going to get us the yes, I definitely can. You see this? This is how fancy I am, right? From my phone, I'm about to take my blinds down to 33% and watch as the light slowly fades from my face. So we've identified that the conversion that we're trying to affect is the amount of views that we get on the video. We know that the two variables for number of views are going to be click-through rate and the watch time or watch percentage. So if we know that those are the variables that we're looking at, then we just need to map them out. New subscribers isn't super relevant. It's just more of a metric that I wanted to track for myself. But this is like, these are the only three columns that we need for what we're trying to accomplish. And if we go back, I just did starting on October 1st. So from October 1st all the way till now, with a 2-week delay between published date and pulling the data. So we've got the published date, and then 2 weeks later, what was the view count, what was the CTR, what was the average view percentage? And that's just what me and Dr. Mike decided. So once we have that data, then what we can do is look for our outliers that did well, our outliers that did not well, and what was kind of in the middle. And then from there, we can decide what we want to do moving forward. So this is true of any funnel, but we're just going to keep using the YouTube video example because there are not many variables and it's easy to explain. Now, looking at these, all of the rows, you've got the highlighted green rows, which means that based on the projection at the end of last year, we decided, or we determined, that if we publish 7 videos a week, long form, and we get above 55,000 views per new video upload, then we'll probably hit our revenue target. So all of these highlighted rows are the ones that are above 55,000 views. And within each of these, what do I want to analyze? The CTR is made up of the title plus the thumbnail, right? Those are the two variables within this variable that are going to determine whether or not someone clicks through. So if we have a lower CTR, that means that the thumbnail and title were not good. If we have a higher CTR, that means the thumbnail and the title were good. So we're going to look at which ones had the high CTRs, what were their thumbnails and titles, and what can we learn from those, as well as which ones had the low CTRs. This one, for example, has one of the lowest. What was it doing for the title and the thumbnail? And what can we learn not to do in the future so that we don't repeat those mistakes? And that's how we do data analysis for anything. So for this specifically, what I'm looking at is not just the words in the title, but first the idea of the video. And I have that here. But the idea of the video is very important because I could have the most banger, like copywriting, open loop, tension building, whatever title. And if it's a topic that nobody cares about, it doesn't matter what the copy says, right? It's like Eugene Schwartz said this first, I think, and Brian Kurtz said it in Overdeliver. If you look at the three elements of what's going to make your marketing campaign successful, you've got the offer, the audience, and the copy. The offer and the audience are about equally important, and the copy is the least important. If you have a really good offer, but you're trying to show it to the wrong audience, it doesn't matter, nobody's going to buy. If you have a crap offer and you're showing it to the perfect audience, it doesn't matter, nobody's going to buy. If you have a good offer and a good audience, only then does it matter how good your copy is, right? So if we look at the ideas of the video, and they are, here the idea is our offer, right? If we look at the idea for the video and the idea is not good, then it doesn't matter how good the copy is or how good the thumbnail or title are in this case, because nobody's going to be attracted to that offer to begin with. And we can see an example of that here, where we've got one that's about sleep. Let me just find it. Hold on, let me just do a Control F. Okay, here we go. So this one, the idea is not sleeping well makes it hard to lose fat. The title, Fix Your Sleep in 3 Steps, backed by science, thumbnails, but then it only got 3.4% click-through and 8.5 thousand views. We also, this is the only one where we lost subscribers also. So what was the issue here? It probably wasn't the copy. It probably wasn't the thumbnail. It's just the fact that people who saw this don't care about fixing their sleep, right? So it doesn't matter how good the rest of it is if the idea sucks. So we start by looking at the ideas. And the ideas that are good, I noticed a few trends. We've got, well, here all of the, if we talk about Eugene Schwartz, all of the mass desires are fat loss. So it's just different ways to present fat loss. In this case, belly fat. In this case, body fat. In this case, visceral fat. In this one, getting lean, right? So it's repetitive, but there are different ways to frame it, where sometimes it's visceral fat, sometimes it's belly fat, sometimes it's body fat percentage, other times it's lose weight, other times it's get lean. So those are some of the valid ideas. And then we can look at which ideas were not valid. Here, get an hourglass figure. I guess that's not a desire that people have. So hourglass figure, not a valid idea. Here, losing weight, we know that that idea has worked. So then we know it's just the presentation of this idea, the copy part, that didn't work. Here, ranking fat loss supplements worst to best. Concept is fat loss. We know that that works, but here the concept of ranking fat loss supplements specifically didn't work. So we don't want to do any of these like ranking videos, and we also had one that we uploaded in the past. So that one didn't work either. So for this, I can say pretty definitively, okay, let's not do more videos like this. Let's not do more videos about getting the hourglass figure. Let's not do videos about menopausal belly fat. Or actually, I went into our YouTube history, and I saw that we did have menopause videos in the past that performed well. So potentially here, it's just the presentation, right? So you can start to look at the data and see, are there ideas where every time it didn't work? If there are, then that means those ideas just won't work. Well, I mean, anything's possible. But if you've tried something 3-4 times and that doesn't work, it's likely that the idea just isn't resonating. There's not a big enough market of people who want that, or they don't want it bad enough. So stop trying to do stuff like that. If you see that there's an idea where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, then that tells you that it's the copy aspect or the audience aspect. For example, I could have women kill visceral fat, men kill visceral fat, and just kill visceral fat. I could have athletes kill visceral fat. I could have children kill visceral fat. And then I can look at all of those and say, okay, cool. The one for athletes didn't resonate, probably because the athletes don't care about visceral fat. They're already athletic, right? That's not an issue that they have. The one for women did really, really well. So I know that this is a mass desire that the female market has. The one for men did really, really well. That's a mass desire that the male market has. The one for kids did not perform. I guess parents just aren't watching videos about how to force their kids to lose weight, right? Like the people who raise fat kids are not the ones who are health conscious. So I can start to make those decisions and narrow down what makes sense and what I believe is going to work versus what doesn't make sense and what I don't believe is going to work. And it's by going through all of these layers that you can then start to develop the strategy and say, okay, cool. So let's make more videos about topic. Let's frame it this way versus this way. And the presentation of it with the packaging, the thumbnail plus the title, should be like this. So that's what we see here then, is that deeper analysis, where these, the ones that are highlighted in green, are the ones that got above our view threshold that we're looking for. And then these green and red is the highest performing. I'll use the word packaging again. Packaging is thumbnail plus title. So highest performing packaging versus lowest performing packaging. Here, I guess I forgot to highlight that. So let me just do that real quick. But in each of these then, I can look through it and I can say, okay, this is happening, this is happening. And as I let that just like slow cook in my mind, then things start to come up and I notice trends. And when you're exposed to enough reps of something, then you'll get to the place where you can just like notice these trends a lot more quickly. But if you're just getting started, when you're looking for trends, it really just comes down to what are all the variables, break those down into all the variables of that, break those down into all the variables of that, break those down into all the variables of that. For example, here I've got, I know that I'm trying to boost my views, right? I know that my views are made up of CTR and average view percentage, pushing my video to more people if those two numbers are good. So let's say this is, or I guess we don't have to, let's say, I know that this is a video that is above my view threshold, so I know that it's good. The CTR is good, 5.2. What is it that affects the CTR? It's the thumbnail plus the title. So of all of my thumbnails and titles, what are the things that I can look at? All of my thumbnails were the same. They didn't test, or sorry, all of my titles were the same. They didn't test any titles, but my thumbnails were all different. So the thing that affected my CTR was one of these thumbnails was better than the other. And YouTube gives me a breakdown of the average watch time, or like the watch time share, they call it, of each of these thumbnails. So the people who clicked on thumbnail A, what was the percentage of watch time that's those people? Thumbnail B was the percentage of watch time for those people. Thumbnail C was the percentage of watch time for those people. So then I can look at all these and I can say, okay, thumbnail A was the best one. What are some of the reasons why it could be the best one? Well, what are the variations that are present in this that are not present in this? So let's look at all the elements that make up this thumbnail, because we went CTR is made up of thumbnail headline. We're picking thumbnail. Thumbnail is made up of text and image. Now we're looking at what is the text and what is the image. And with the image, what are the different elements within there, right? So just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So here we can see, okay, the text is really just day 1, day 14, so it's a before and after. The thumbnail is light background. The thumbnail has fat mic and shredded mic. And the thumbnail has highlight of the stomach. Now let's look at this one. Day 1, day 14, so same copy. That means that's not a variable here. We've got fat mic and shredded mic, which means that yes, it's a different pose, but that's not really a variable. They're both looking down, so that's not really a variable. But in this one, we're doing like organ, yellow, orange x-ray. In this one, we're doing highlight of muscles. And then background, this one's a lot darker than this one. The main thing though, And yes, background color can affect stuff, but it's not a huge thing most of the time. Sometimes it is. But in this one, the main difference is yellow highlight of muscles versus organ shot and no highlight here. And then this one is like this one's just a completely different concept and it did the worse. So I'll say ignore this one. Let's just look at these two. The main thing that I noticed is highlight of muscles versus highlight of organs. If I look at then all of my other data, are there other places where I can notice highlight of muscles performs well and highlight of organs doesn't perform well? Well, there are some. Let me see. So here, for example, we have Mike, Mike, and then shirtless Mike, highlight of muscles, and this one performed the best out of all three of these. I have these ones here, where this one is highlight of muscles, this one is not highlight of muscles, this one is highlight of muscles as well, but the top performing one had the element highlight of muscles. Here, the top performing one had highlight of muscles. Let me just see. This one, highlight of muscles. This one, lowest performance, highlight of organs. This one also this one's the lowest performance, but this one is second place. This one's first place. So highlight of organs is proving to me that it's not a good strategy for us. Here, highlight of muscles, highlight of organs, both of them performed about the same. This one, highlight of muscles, top performer. Highlight of muscles, highlight of muscles, highlight of organs, lowest performer. So now I'm noticing a trend and I'm like, wait a minute, it seems like most of the time when we're doing highlight of muscles, it works well. And when we're doing highlight of organs, it doesn't work well. Here, a little bit of an exception. It's shredded Mike with a red orange highlight versus like gross fat organ highlights. But here we do have the gross fat organ highlights, and look at the difference, 44% versus 27%. So there is data enough for me to say this is probably something that we should stop doing, and this is probably something that we should do more. Does all of that make sense? Perfect. Awesome. Now, if I continue to go through this, I'll just give you guys one more example, or two more examples if you want, just depending on how much you guys care. Let's flip it and now start to look for the things that perform really poorly. Because this one I was looking at, this performed best. Why do I think it performed best? But I can do the opposite as well. Do you take this data for this specifically? This is a 2-week time frame. So upload date plus 13 more days. So another thing, or like the flip side of this, if I want to look at the worst performing, if I just look at my red highlighted ones here, I scroll down and one that is very different where I can start to get new ideas. I look at this one. This is really low, 30% versus 33 versus 36. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, he's got poison, some kind of drink. Here, this kills you, some kind of drink. Here, this is poison, some kind of drink. So that's not really the variable. It's Mike, Mike, and Mike. That's not really the variable. But this one has this gross, like, biology thing, human being. Let's see if there are other thumbnails that have that. So I just looked down here. Oh, shoot. Right away, I noticed that. The worst performing one in this row as well has this weird, gross biology thing. Do we have other examples of that? Right here. That's gross, and that didn't perform well either, compared to this one where it's shredded Mike with a highlight. Let's see if there are any others. I think there's one more in here. Maybe not. Yeah, okay, maybe not. But then that's another trend, right? Every time we do the biology, I'll call it like macrobiology, just the full human body or a big part of a human body, we get low click-through rates. Why? Probably because it's gross, right? Dr. Mike's a medical professional, so I'm sure he doesn't think it's gross. But when I see it, I'm like, ew, especially this one. I look at it and I'm like, ew, that's like a naked fat person. That's so disgusting. And then here it's just a naked, like not fat person. He's pretty jacked actually, but but here it's like just human skeletons, muscles, like all this flesh. It's gross. I don't want to look at that. So, hypothesis, potentially doing that is not a great idea. What are we doing here exactly? Data analysis to decide which kind of thumbnails and titles to run more of. Exactly. So if we determine what the rules are for what we should do and what we should not do, then it'll help us in the future as we do more of the stuff that we should and less of the stuff that we should not. The core principle of anything, any kind of progress in life is do more of the good stuff and do less of the bad stuff. So this is literally just that. Here's the third one, I think, that I was thinking of. So same thing as, or like same people on there as the one on the bottom. So this is how I'm going through this, and there's really, I guess there is a system to it. I was going to say there's no system, but it's trying to look at the variables and then just going through all of the options and noticing where you see those variables coming up. So one final one that we can do, we can look at the text on the thumbnails. Here, drink 2 cups every day was a clear winner. 2 cups daily kills fat. This kills visceral fat. So a command like, or I guess like maybe an open loop we can call it, do the thing on a schedule. And if you've ever studied any kind of health promos, you know of this kind of hook where a lot of health promos will say like, drink this 5 minutes before bed and you'll melt, or the fat will melt away from your stomach, things like that, right? So that's a proven strategy in health direct response. So when I saw this, drink 2 cups every day, that's what I thought of right away. And with that being said, I was like, okay, cool. Are there other places where the do X in time is visible? Like, or not visible, but is present. So I look through it and I'm like, is it here? Better than Ozempic? No, that doesn't make sense. Thank me in 3 months? No. Easier than fasting? No. So I'm looking, and I don't really see any other examples of that. But what if I look in the titles? Are there titles where this kind of stuff is present? So for sure I can say like, just with this very limited data set, we should continue to test this to see if it works. But then I can see it reflected in some of the titles as well. So I just want to find where that is to show you guys real quick. Yeah, okay, whatever. I won't spend time looking through everything to try to find it. But there are some, or actually, I think I have it in here. Yeah, so there's one title that's 10 foods women should eat every day to kill visceral fat. So this is the same concept as this one. Drink 2 cups every day is do this routine to achieve results. And then we see that in the copy as well with the 10, oh, actually, there you go. It's the title of this. So that lends a little bit more credibility to my hypothesis that ritual or do this every day kind of stuff will work well. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but are you basing these based off standardized numbers? All right, Ayub, I'm going to ask you to ask that again in a way that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions about this part of it, like looking for the trends and identifying those? If not, just give me a 100 or a thumbs up in chat so we can know that we're good. Yo, let's go. I love Paul. He's so youthful. There are a few people typing, so we'll just wait a little bit. Like the percent or numbers, are these off standard industry numbers or based on the channel results so far or something else? This is based off of me projecting that we need at least 55,000 views per new video upload. and then looking at the videos that have that, and then what titles and thumbnails did they have specifically for CTR. I'll give several people a sec. Did you already talk about how you reverse engineer your projections? I did like 2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah. Should we use these ideas that are running well as inspiration for newer ideas, for new ideas and thumbnails for future videos? The way that I would do it is if I know what, okay, so I'll just show you guys this. I know what my validated ideas are, right? I know that visceral fat, belly fat, body fat foods, lose weight, and get lean work well. I know that metabolism, sleep, hourglass figure, and tier list do not work well. For titles, I know that words like kill, delete, destroy, burn work well, remove and shrink don't. Should works well, saying how to do X or Y, X does not work well. Saying tricks works well, but hacks does not, right? So I'm building myself a list like this, where I know which ideas work, which structures for my titles work, which copywriting, or I guess not copywriting elements, but just word choice, I guess, for my thumbnails does best, and which designs do best on my thumbnails. So when I have those, then what I can do is pick, let's say, the idea of visceral fat. And let me just do this not where you guys can see in case something sus comes up. Give me one sec. I'm sorry, I just don't know where I stored what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. So, check this out. Let's say I decide I want to write a video about visceral fat. Please act as my research assistant. I'm planning this week's YouTube videos for Dr. Mike Diamonds and his brand Sculpt by Science. For our channel, we create content about health topics. Our four major content categories are fat loss, muscle gain, longevity, and performance. Our target audience is both men and women, so we can create gender-neutral content as well as content specific to men or to women. Our goal is to grow the YouTube channel, get more views, etc. These are the subreddits that I want you to look through, and I want you to get me the top, most popular, trending, whatever topics by frequency and format them like this. So if I want to do something specifically for visceral fat, I'll go here and I'll say our major content category is visceral fat loss. And then I'll go here. Ah, frick. I'll go here because these are no longer relevant. There we go. And then I will start this. I'll put it into deep research. I will turn on social. And then I will ship it. And we'll see very quickly what people are talking about, what is trending for visceral fat loss. And then from there, I can just grab those, take those. Those are now my ideas within visceral fat. Look at these when I'm creating the title. Look at these when I'm creating the thumbnail. And all of a sudden, it is done. So that is also if you're writing newsletters. Yes, thank you very much for sending Paul that. You can do the same thing for newsletters if you're trying to write topical stuff, right? Like, let's say you've got a financial newsletter or somewhere where there's like evolving news, maybe a real estate offer, right? Anything like that. You can just have a prompt like this and be like, hey, do research in the real estate forums and tell me what are people talking about right now. And if you know that one of the trending topics is a new bill. Let's say Trump passes Bill 184, and that's about how corporations can now only buy property worth $1 million plus, and that's greater than 10,000 square feet, like something like that. Then you can go into your, or when you're writing your newsletter, subject line, Trump Bill 182, what it means for you. And then write the email about that, because you know that that topic's going to resonate. You know that a lot of people in your audience are thinking about it. So that's how I would come up with ideas for newsletters or for YouTube videos. And here we've got breaking through weight loss plateaus. So how can I talk about breaking through weight loss plateaus? Well, let's see. Rituals sounds like a good one. So I could say something like, do this every day for 14 days to break through your weight loss plateau, right? Or do this to break through your weight loss plateau, something like that. Maybe permanent I can throw in there. I could do give me 4 minutes or whatever the length of the video is going to be, and I'll show you how to break through your weight loss plateau. If I was, what was the time frame? 2 week to 2 month. If I was stuck for 3 months at the same weight, this is what I would do, or I guess 2 months at the same weight, this is what I would do. Here, this could be something like the hormone responsible for keeping you plateaued. And then in these, I would do the same thing. Or I could go through here. Let's say people are talking about Ozempic and Wegovy maybe, weight regain and natural alternatives. So here we can talk about what to do to get off of GLP-1 without gaining the weight back. And I could frame that as, here's what you should know if you plan on quitting GLP-1. Or permanent results even after quitting GLP-1, something like that. Here's stubborn belly fat, why it's always the last to go. So belly fat we know is a topic that that our audience cares about. This one would probably be a little bit harder, but it would just be general weight loss stuff, like probably something more like this I would go with. New Year's resolution is something that we definitely didn't do that we should have. Tracking mistakes is kind of vague, but I like this of where are the hidden calories. So we could do something calorie related. That's not bad. So does that make sense? Perfect. Beautiful. Does anybody have any questions for how to apply that kind of analysis to the business that you're working with or the clients that you're working with? Or are we good to move on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which is newsletters, because I've been writing a lot of those lately. And I don't know if you guys would believe me if I said that I was a good copywriter, but right now my newsletters are, I didn't actually do the math, so this is just me guessing based on what I saw. But my open rate is about 40% average, and my click-through rate is between like 3 and 5% average. If you know anything about industry benchmarks or you've written a newsletter yourself ever, you know that that is crazy. So I wanted to get into my strategy a little bit for writing newsletters and how I'm keeping those stats so high. Is that something that you guys want to learn? Nice. Okay. So I'm going to start by saying that most copywriters, and if Paul is still here, I know that he's worked with enough copywriters that he's probably going to agree with me. So when I say this, Paul, drop me a yes 100%. I haven't said it yet, but I'm going to say something that I think you are going to be like, you're right, fuck those guys. So most copywriters, they don't put any thought into what they're doing because they've consumed too much like Ben Settle, like Joanna Weave, like all of these really long form story based emails that are sent to copywriters where the copywriters are like, wow, this is so well written. And so I'm going to emulate that. Most copywriters write just like garbage, period. But yes, Paul, this isn't the part I need you to agree with because for sure we all know that. But the issue that I have is that with subject lines and with hooks and with a lot of stuff, yeah, they don't think for themselves. Especially subject lines and the hook of the email, like the first few lines. I guess we can say the lead of the email as well. They'll write something that is not clear and not specific, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's because I'm trying to use intrigue." Right? They won't say I'm trying to use intrigue. They'll just say I'm using intrigue, and you're like, "There's an R word for that." I'm glad Paul agrees in all caps. So the first thing that I want to say about newsletters specifically, or any emails, like even all of my the webinar campaign that we just did with Dr. Mike, all of those emails, very direct. Because when somebody wants something, just tell them that you have what they want. Right? Easy. Sometimes exactly. 100% Paul. Exactly. I think it was Jay Abraham who said this originally. I first heard it from Frank Kern. Sometimes the best way to sell a horse is to say horse for sale. If you get somebody on your list who wants to lose fat, tell them, hey, this is the fat loss thing. If you got somebody on your list who wants to increase their close rate, tell them, hey, this is the close rate increasing thing. If you got somebody on your list who wants to learn to write copy, say, hey, this is the thing to teach you how to write copy. Direct, to the point, make the promise or talk about the pain. Yes, there are ways that you can manipulate what you're writing in order to make it more compelling. Yeah, no, exactly, Paul. There are ways to manipulate what you're writing in order to make it more intriguing. For example, if I just say like how to lose, actually, we'll just look at some of these titles, right? Like if I just say how to lose visceral fat, that's a lot less compelling than why your belly fat won't disappear, right? This still isn't fantastic just based on the stats here. This is very borderline, but you see how the presentation or the manipulation of those words can make it more or less attractive to the reader. In both cases, though, we're still saying you're going to discover the reason why, or you're going to learn how to belly fat related problem. So some of the newsletter emails that I've written recently, I'll just, again, pull it up on a different tab just to, not sometimes clear is the answer, 100% of the time clear is the answer. But I just want to make sure that I'm not showing you guys any user data like emails and phone numbers and stuff. So give me one sec. All right, so there we go. We just started, or I just started sending the newsletters, I think on the 19th, if that was Monday. Yeah, so the 19th was the first day that we sent newsletters. And these are my stats so far, 40% open rate and 3% click-through rate. What are these top performing emails? Okay, so these ones are like, these are still from the webinar sequence, but not like, don't look at this and be like, wow, 60% click rate. Like that doesn't make sense. It was only sent to 9 people. It's a very specific email and a very specific part of the sequence. Like ignore that, ignore these. Of course, they're crazy high. Again, just because it's like, it's very segmented. So I guess that's a lesson. With anything that you're doing in email, newsletter, a little bit different. Of course, you can have segmentation in your newsletters, and I do. But when you're doing sequences, it's very easy for you to write variations of the sequences that are segmented based on user actions. These ones, for example, the post app DQ email one is an email that goes out right away to somebody who gets disqualified after they apply, and it's a pitch for the school group, like our free community, because I know that they're not going to qualify to buy our high ticket stuff, so I want to keep nurturing them. And I can nurture them on the email list, but I can also nurture them in the school group. So this is just an invite for those people who got disqualified. And as you see, there were only 9 of them because we had, I don't know how many total applications, but not a ton. So of those people, only a small percentage is going to get disqualified, but those people received a very relevant message. And you see like 100% open rate, right? Because the subject line was something along the lines of like your application, more information inside, something like that. And then inside of the email, it's like, cool, so we just received your application. here's what's going to happen. We're going to review it. We'll let you know if it's a good fit. We'll reach out to you in 24 to 48 hours. But while you wait, go join the school group. Click here. So that's why it makes a lot of sense that this would have a 100% open rate. That's still crazy, but 100% open rate and 66.7, which means 2/3 of people clicked. So 6 people out of 9. But it's really high because it was so contextual and so relevant to them, right? And it would be ridiculous for me to think 100% of people who receive this email want to join the school group. But this high number of people who do, it was very direct. It told them just go join the school group. And they did in some cases. But yeah, exactly what Paul said. So those are my preliminary thoughts: segmentation plus relevance, context, whatever you want to call it. And if we look at just my newsletter emails, we've got 5 that have gone out. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the Monday email, this was a promo to the school group. Then this was a YouTube video promo. I think this was YouTube, school, and then YouTube again. This one, actually, I don't know if I want to segment the list between male and female, because then on every single opt-in ever, I'll need to have a female, male, like, can you tell me which one you are? And then I can tag them based on that, which I don't know if that would kill our conversion rates. I don't think it would, but that's something I'm thinking of. Anyway, this one I just wanted to test to see what happens if I send an email to the whole list that says this is for women only. I will probably change that though, because like it doesn't make sense to do that. There are definitely not only 2 genders, there are only 2 sexes though, so that's the distinction that we can make. And that's why I say female and male versus boy and girl, because female, male is more clear that I'm talking about the sex. Here, January 19th, we'll look at this email. Want to access my best resources, contact first name. I'm in the process of relaunching our Scald by Science community, where you can get access to Thing 1, Thing 2, Thing 3, and a community. Click here to join. P.S. We have big plans. Click here to join. If you were to analyze the structure of this email, very, very simple. Hook, clickable image, bullets, CTA. And then in this one, there's a PS. Who did I steal this framework of email writing from? Our boy Frank Kern. Shout out to him. I love basically everything he's ever done. I don't know about his AI stuff. I haven't bought his software or gone into that, but all of his older stuff, really, really love it. So our boy Frank Kern, he has what he calls like a click deadline sequence. So it's just a way to set up the sequence where if someone indicates interest by clicking on something, then they go into a different sequence that pushes them to a specific offer based on what they just clicked. This obviously is not that. This is just based off of the click email that exists within those sequences that he does. And so that structure again is the hook, the clickable image, the bullets, the CTA, and then an optional PS. Why does this work so well? See, homie. Why does this work so well? It works well because with every email ever, period, you're going to make sure that the reader sees in the first line of the email a reason why they should keep reading. The image, I've tested, I used to work with a company called Osmosis. They are a medical... Oh yeah, no, I love that. I actually didn't come up with that. I saw it in one of his YouTube videos, so either he wrote it or our scriptwriter wrote it. But I heard that and I was like, that would be such a good email sign off, and I kept it in my brain for like 3 months until I started writing the emails. The hook, obviously, the reason why somebody is going to click. The image, when I was with a company called Osmosis, they're a medical education platform. I don't know if they still exist because they got acquired a long time ago. But with Osmosis, I did a lot of email testing when I was working with Lori, who some of you guys might remember. Me and Lori, we tested like header image, image in the body, links in the different places in the body, links on different images, what's getting the most percentages of clicks. I forget what software we used, but yeah, literally just you. But whatever the software was that we were using was able to tell us what percentage of the link or what percentage of the clicks were attributed to each of the links. So we could see certain clickable areas got more clicks than other areas. And when we tested putting an image in the body right after the hook with a link on it, that got usually most of the clicks of the email. And you can see that as well if you look at health, if you look at financial, sometimes they do this too. Really compelling image that would make you want to click that is hyperlinked. And the reason is because it works so well. And that's how I'm sure if I removed it, I wouldn't get as many clicks, right? That's one of the ways that I'm keeping my clicks so high. And then you see we also have multiple links throughout. I try not to go too heavy on the links because the more links you have, the more it could get flagged as spam. I don't know exactly what the rules are, but I always try to have something in my hook, then the image, and then something within here. Sometimes I'll have two within the body, sometimes I'll just have one. Depends on contextually what makes sense. But this is the structure of every email that I've sent so far. That is a newsletter email because I'm always just promoting something. I don't need to write a super long story for two reasons. One, it's going to take me a lot of time. It doesn't make sense. And then two, if I give people exactly what they're asking for and I just have variety, then I'm fine. Right? Some people will have more of a long storytelling guru based type of email, like Elise does this for Shelby. Elise and Michael Tipper, who you guys don't know, he's never been in the Discord, but they used to do it for Pace Morby. A lot of like our info clients at the agency had more story-based stuff, but I'm more a fan of this. I like this a lot. It works. So, are you going to do a super sig? I don't know what a super sig is, but this is. All he had to do was promise everybody that they were going to, make a bunch of money selling real estate. But there you go. So that is the structure of the emails that I use. And then you can see 42% opens, 4.83% clicks. How do you guys feel about those stats? Glaze me for a second. Thank you, Christos. I appreciate it. Christos is, I'm trying to actually, once we start getting more money coming in and I have the budget, I'm going to hire Christos as my copywriter here. But I've been sending Christos like photos of these emails for the last week, being like, look how good I am, look how good I am, look how good I am. So that's one way to do it. And you can see that's how I'm doing it with the school promo. Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do that, Paul. The PS, yeah. So I'm trying, as you guys probably saw, I'm trying like really long stuff down here in the footer. Like, this is Scald by Science, and this is what we do, and dur. And so far, I haven't really noticed a difference between the emails where I have this and the emails where I don't. So I might just remove it, but we'll see. I've got to do proper testing for it. This one is for a YouTube video as opposed to school. And this is a photo more like what they do in health and in financial. So the idea with this is to create intrigue with the photo so that a person clicks so that they can discover the 10 foods. And there are a bunch of ways to do this. I'll show you guys different ways that I have done photos like this. But this one, what I did is for the idea of it, I went into a YouTube video that I wanted to promote, and it's something about, let's just actually click and we'll see.
Welcome to High Level.
So 10 foods that kill visceral fat. And what I do, actually, I'll just show you the whole process. What I do to really speed up my email writing process
10 food
is I go to more, I click on show transcript, I turn off the timestamps in the transcripts, I copy this, I throw it into Perplexity, and I ask it to tell me all of the claims made in the video. And then I find the one that I think is best, I use that as my hook, and then I use the rest as my bullets. So super, super simple. And of course, you've got to use your copywriting mind to be like, okay, cool, what's the best way to present these claims in like a form that's going to like manipulate the words like I was talking about before? In my email. So I'll actually just pull up my Perplexity history and I'll show you guys how I did it. So there we go. This is for this one here, right? Like 10 food, 0 calories. This is this video. 10 food, 0 calories. So I just gave it super simple prompt. Can you review this YouTube script and tell me what the claims are that are being made? paste the script, and then it tells me, okay, cool, here are the claims. Boom, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. So I read through these, and then I saw, hold on, we'll just go back to the newsletter for a sec so I can show you what the subject lines were that I went with, and I'll explain how I came up with those. So, low-calorie foods that'll keep you full, feeling hungry. So I see that in, I think it's called like, yeah, global claims. Here, 10 foods that'll help you destroy visceral fat. I'm thinking, what's the best way to present that? Because I could straight up just say 10 foods that destroy visceral fat, but that's not, I mean, it is compelling to my audience, but like, what is the real reason why these foods are helping them destroy visceral fat? It's not because the foods, in some cases, they do have like chemical makeups and stuff that affect the hormones, but most of the time it's because they're low calorie foods. What is the advantage of a low calorie food? The low calorie food means that you can eat a lot more of it. And so if you can eat a lot more of the low calorie food, then that overcomes one of the major problems that I know this audience has. And what is that major problem? I can't diet or I can't restrict my eating because I get too hungry and I feel sick or I get pain in my stomach. So low calorie foods that'll keep you full, as you can see, this one was the winning subject line because it's speaking to the actual like benefit, pain, dimensionalization of what I'm promising. This was my attempt at just seeing like if a colloquial subject line would work better than this. So that's how I come up with the subject line. And that's based off of just this up here, right? So you see you're getting the claims, but you still need to use your copywriting brain a little bit. Then I open with knowing that this is going to align with both of the subject lines, right? Whichever one I'm testing, this makes sense for it. So this video, CTA right off in the hook, is for anyone who's ever had to quit a diet because it left them too hungry. Dimensionalization, using the pain that they're talking about in the words that they use, and you can do all of that in Perplexity as well, right? Like just be like, hey, what are some of the things that people are saying about da-da-da? It'll pull Reddit threads for you. These foods are perfect because they keep you feeling full without adding more than a handful of calories to your meals. So this is me explaining the mechanism, right? Because I'm opening this claim. I'm saying, if you've ever had to quit a diet because you were too hungry, then this video is going to help you overcome that. That's my claim. So I need to provide proof as to why that claim is true. Anytime you make a claim, you need proof. So my proof here is, I'll call it like logical proof, because I'm saying, of course you can lose weight if you are not hungry, if you don't go over your calorie limit. That makes sense, right? Like just the logic of it is like, oh yeah, of course I could lose weight if I didn't eat as much, obviously. So that's my proof there. And then recapping the benefit, because as we know, objection, claim, proof, benefit. So my objection was, I can't lose weight because I'm too hungry. My claim is, don't worry, you can eat these foods because they keep you full and they don't stack calories. That means you can eat as much as you want. So recapping with my benefit. And then here, discover the 10 foods. This is a bowl of pasta. It's like shrimp and basil and tomatoes, but it's with a, I forget what it is. It's konjac, Konjac, konjac noodles, which are like 5 calories per serving. It's crazy, crazy low calories because they're mostly fiber. It's really not dense. Like it's a really great food for people who are dieting and who want to or limit their calories. So I just found an image of that. And then I took that, I threw it into Canva, and I blurred it out because I want people to ask themselves, what is this food? And here's something that you can think of as well when you're designing images like this. No, I literally just spelled it for you. Come on. When you're designing images like this, or when you're trying to do anything that is like teasing with visuals or with storytelling as well. I learned this a long time ago, but it was really cemented for me recently when I was watching BBC's Sherlock with Lena. I've never seen that series before. It's been a while that it's been out, so you might have seen it. But Sherlock is really, really good writing because, in my opinion, it does a really good job at setting up the mystery of, like, Sherlock Holmes is a detective, right? So it sets up the mystery of whatever case he's trying to solve. And then it gives you just enough hints that you can usually, if you're paying attention, figure it out just before he does, which makes you feel smart, right? So you go through that whole thing of the problem solving and the mental engagement, and that keeps you watching the show. And then it crescendos, and you're like, wait, no, I solved it. And then maybe 2 minutes later, Sherlock figures it out, or maybe you're putting it together, and like halfway through the episode, you're like, oh man, I think it's this. And then the clues keep coming, and it just validates your hypothesis more and more and more. But eventually they reveal it, and then you're like, wow, I knew it. And you get this huge spike, right? Whatever the chemicals are that fire in your brain that make you feel good. So you can do that, something similar, with your copy and with your creative. Here, for example, it's really blurred out, but if I tell you that it's a bowl of pasta with basil and tomatoes and shrimp, you can look at it and say, oh yeah, I see the shrimp, I see the tomato, I see the basil, all of this must be the pasta. If I didn't tell you that, you can look at it and you can still see it a little bit, and you can say, oh, you know what? I bet that is pasta. I bet that is a thing that I could be familiar with, but it's not clear enough for you to actually know. So the only way to know is to click on the image. And then I do a little bit more than that right underneath. And number 5 is perfect for pasta lovers. So you're like, wait a minute. Either your thought is, wait, I can eat pasta and still lose weight. That's fantastic because pasta is usually one of those no foods, right? Like very high calories. Or oh my goodness, there's an alternative to pasta that I can eat instead of eating pasta. So whichever of those two, that's still good for me, Jonathan, the copywriter, because it's playing into the thing that they want, right? They want to either eat pasta or they want to eat something that tastes like pasta. And all of this is happening within this little section here. So when you're creating any kind of creative or when you're writing a story, if you're trying to create an open loop, excuse me, or if you're trying to keep engagement up, or if you're trying to get people to click through or take an action, or however you want to frame this for yourself, however you're going to use this tactic, do it like that, where you give them just enough information for them to believe that they've figured it out, but not enough information for them to know until they take the action. And then down here, you see that we do the bullets. Other benefits of adding these foods to your diet, specifically target visceral fat, snack between meals without hurting your weight loss goals, and flip on your internal detox system to push toxins out of your body. This is just stuff that I pulled from looking through these and choosing a few that I thought were the most compelling claims. And then this one again, nearly 40% open rate and nearly 5% click-through rate. This one here, same kind of thing. This one, I used ChatGPT actually to generate the image, which super based. If you know what you're trying to get, ChatGPT will do a great job. So here I'm like, generate photorealistic keys, like old-timey medieval, hang from the ceiling, kind of gold sparkly background. They have tags on them that say these things. And then it generated that image. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now focus on the first one, put the other two out of focus. And then it did that, but like not as much as I wanted to. So I asked it to do it a little bit more. And I just kept modifying it. It took me maybe 5-10 minutes. But I ended up with this image where subject line for this email, let's just find it. So subject lines that I tested, 30% to 12% body fat without counting calories, or eat more to burn more calories, question mark. And here you can see click rate's a little bit lower. It's only 4%, but that's better than what you guys get. But this one, TEF is the mechanism that I wanted to go with, which is here. I just did the exact same thing. Like, here's my script. Look through it. Look for the claims. And there is a thing called the thermic effect of food. Let me just find it. There we go. So here, the thermic effect of food is how much your body burns when it's digesting, essentially. So if, for example, I eat 200 calories worth of pineapples, maybe my body needs 100 calories to digest those pineapples. So the net plus of my caloric intake is 100. If I eat something like a stick of celery, and I don't know if this is true or not, but let's say the celery has 5 calories and it takes me 10 calories to digest it, I'm at a net minus 5 calories for eating the celery. So that's what TEF is. And I'm like, oh, TEF is a really cool mechanism. So let me make the email about TEF. and that's why I have this lead. Have you heard of TEF, contact first name? It's a metabolic process that burns twice as many calories as exercise, which is a claim that Dr. Mike makes in the video. TEF counts for around 10% of total daily energy expenditure, whereas activity or exercise is only around 5%. So that's where I'm getting that claim from. And it's the second key that I reveal in this video, so CTA, that'll help you drop down to 12% body fat. Click here to reveal the 3 keys. Also in this video, and then just the rest of the claims from Perplexity. A simple trick to reduce stomach volume. You wouldn't be able to eat more even if you wanted to. How to gain muscle while you lose fat so you don't end up looking skinny and weak, and this is VOC. The hormonal reset that'll target those last stubborn pounds you need to shed to hit your goals. Learn everything when you watch the video now. Now here, I also want to, I guess we'll go back to like the copywriting brain for a sec. I also want to emphasize that you don't want to just take the claims as they are. If it's something that's not going to be attractive to your audience, you need to transform those into something that will be attractive to your audience. This is about sleep. So sleep is something that's very bleh, right? Like as you saw when we were looking over the YouTube data, the video about sleep had very poor performance. Here, Dr. Mike's talking about sleep as being the third key. I agree sleep is important, but if you tell people you need to sleep, they'll be like, yeah, I know, but I can't, right? I'm too busy, whatever. So there's no point talking about sleep or emphasizing that people should sleep more, especially in an email. Like in a video, it makes sense because you have more time to warm them up to the idea and sell them on sleep. But in an email, if I were just to say, this video is about sleep, they'll be like, I don't need that. So what can I do with the concept of sleep? Well, what is the benefit of sleep? What are the pains associated with sleep? What's the dimensionalization I could do around sleep? I know that sleep is key for keeping my testosterone high, my cortisol low. I know that hormones is a thing that people like to talk about. So is there something that I can talk about hormones specifically instead of sleep? What does Dr. Mike say about hormones? Here he says something. I don't know if I'll be able to see it. Let me check. So there's somewhere where he just says that it's like a reset switch. But maybe it was in the script itself that I found it. Whatever, he says something about it like resetting your hormones. So I use that line then, instead, the hormonal reset that'll target those last stubborn pounds you need to shed to hit your goals. So not talking about sleep at all, because I know that's not going to be an attractive concept, but instead talking about the hormonal reset that is sleep. And then on the 22nd, what did we send? This one for the school group. So this nutrition mini course isn't available anywhere else, but you can get it when you join the Business Athlete Hub, our free Skull by Science community, clickable image. Here we've got no bullets. I kept it paragraph form instead, but I'm doing the same thing basically. I'm just varying the formats. That way people don't get too used to it. Also just to test stuff. But these are the same fundamentals I use with my clients. Now I've packaged these into a mini course. Click here to access the mini course. And this is where you'll find it. This different from the first email that we saw that went out on the 19th, I think it was, where it was like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, or maybe that was another email. But this one just like very short, right? And we'll see how this one performed. This one almost 40% and 4% click through. And then subject line that was a winner, contact first name, want access to the new course. And then the final one, this one went out this morning. So what I've noticed is that it usually takes 2 or 3 days for everyone to open and click. Like actually, I'll just show you. I'll just pick this one and see if I can show you that. But we have a big spike on the first day. And then here we still got like 10 clicks and 100 opens on day 2. Here we still got 36 clicks or 36 opens and 2 clicks. So there is stuff that happens downstream, which is why I'm going to wait. Like I'm going to give it a 1 week delay for my reporting of email goes out. Let's say on the 19th, I'm going to wait until next Monday to go and pull those stats. But here, whoops. Is that the, yeah. So that one did pretty well. And then this one is the one that went out this morning, where I'm just testing if I send to the whole list and call out females specifically. This one's for the ladies because this is how Dr. Mike talks. A new video where I reveal 5 science-based steps proven to help you lose belly fat fast. kind of darked out image with a play button on top, clickable. In this video, claim, claim, claim. You can see here I'm including a CTA in the body on this one. And then final CTA there, and we'll see how it's performed. I haven't checked yet. Only 25% opens and only 1.5% clicks, so we'll see if that goes up, but I wouldn't expect it to be as high as the rest just because it's female specific. So that is that. One final thing that I want to bring your guys' attention to. So who here in chat, yes, and I'm going to answer your question after I saw that you dropped something, but, or I guess it's not a question, but just I'll read it. Who in chat can tell me with either like thumbs up, thumbs down, yes, no, whatever, when you start off your emails, do you say something like hi first name or hey first name, or like calling out the person's first name in the first line? Do you guys do that, or do you not do that? No? Why not? Chris is about to say yes. I hope. Usually no, RIP. So why not? We know that personalization is good. You look at any email that you receive, it's hey Jonathan. Like they all say that. It's a trash hook. Tell me more, Christos. Tell me more. Where am I going with this? Do you think that it's worth the first line of your email, the very first thing that a person says, or sees, sorry, to be, hey, Jonathan? That's very, very, very valuable real estate, right? That is the prime space in your email copy. So does it make sense to use that prime space to say, hey, Jonathan? Hey, Mike? Hey, James? Or is there something better you can do instead? Too vague, not valuable, doesn't hook people, boring, 100%. So let's look at the emails that I've sent. This video is for anyone who's ever had to quit a diet because it left them too hungry. Do we have a first name here? We do not. What about this one? Have you heard of TEF, Jonathan? This nutrition mini course isn't available anywhere else, Jonathan. This one's for the ladies. So we don't always have the first name, but we do always have a call out. Because one of the principles that I use a lot, or that I think about a lot, is being direct. And when you're being direct, what are you doing? You're saying, person, I have this for you, right? And you can see if you went through the first video of the Beyond Copy series, it starts with whatever my thing is, like, this is this Beyond Copy series, and what this is going to cover is how to be really good at all of the other marketing stuff. And then I go right away into, and who is this for? Because I want to let people know within the first, how many ever, like 2-3 minutes, whatever it is, that either they're in the right place and they're going to get value, or they're in the wrong place and they're not going to get value. For this one is for the ladies. A new video where blah, blah, blah. So they saw the subject line, whatever this subject line says. Let's just see, I think it says for women, how to something or other. For women, the fastest way to lose belly fat. For women, stop doing cardio, start doing this instead. Right? So very clear call out. They know what they're getting into. And then this one reminds the people who opened the email. This one is for the ladies, and it's where I teach you this thing. This video is for anyone who has ever had to quit a diet because it left them hungry. Very clear call out. And then here, when I'm using the first name, I'm not doing it in the gimmicky, hey, first name kind of way. I'm saying, hey, have you ever heard of TEF, Christos? Is that a lot more conversational? Does it make a lot more sense? Does it flow a lot more easily? 100%. Here, this nutrition mini course isn't available anywhere else, Paul. Like that, it doesn't sound like a random B2B automated email. And if my bodies were longer, you can see this in some of the other emails that I've written for the sequences for the webinar. Just dropping the name in the body as well. If I'm making a point. For example, I have one in my post-call booking sequence, I think, that's like, here's how to prep for your call, where it says something along the lines of, This is going to be like, this isn't going to be super easy. Obviously, you have to change your diet, you have to change your exercise routine, you have to take supplements, you have to do whatever. But you're used to doing hard things, aren't you, Christos? Right? Something like that. So you can use the person's name as personalization throughout the body where it makes sense, where it's conversational. I wouldn't use it in the hey first name, hi first name kind of style that most people do. So that is one other thing that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention because that's something that I think probably has an emotional impact. I don't have data to say whether it does or not change things, but this is something that I believe is a better way to write copy and better way to make people feel connected. So if you can start doing that, then that's probably going to get you a better long-term result. Now, Yasen said, based on your last critique of my sales page, I conducted thorough research and discovered that men over 35 are less concerned about losing weight and more focused on how their wives perceive them or how they feel around their coworkers. This is the insight I've gathered so far, 100%. So I think you're spot on with that. Does anybody have any questions about these emails? Or do you guys feel like you have a pretty good understanding of how to keep open rates and click-through rates high? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I love the activity in chat. Christos, I appreciate you leading the group. Christos actually, shout out to my boy. The November promo that we did, because we worked together at the agency, the November promo that we did for one of our clients who they have a big health and fitness brand, did like the most revenue that they'd ever done on email. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was something like 30% ish of their total revenue for Black Friday, Cyber Monday month came from email, and it was all Christos. So, bro knows how to write emails for sure. We will now, if you guys are down, 200K, yeah. So, fantastic. Christos is actually my chat GPT. Mariam, can you drop the copy that you want me to review in the chat? And I'll check that out. If you are currently with us. And not in Gen Chat. If you can drop it in the office hours chat, that would be appreciated. I can review it. Otherwise, if anybody else has anything they want me to review, then we can jump into that. If not, then we can call it a day. I'll go have lunch, take a little bit of a nap, and then keep on my grind. What I got made lots of sense. Someone came to visit me. Bet. All right. Cool. Well, I think Joydeep is recording anyway, so we will all get access to that replay. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there we go. Muravai filtered shower head. I love taking showers, but Mariam did not enable comments. So if you could just turn on anyone with link can comment, that would be fantastic. What do I think of this outreach? Great question. Let's see. Oh, I hate it because it's on Instagram. It is pretty easy if you know what to do, bro. TBH, I don't even know if I could help you, so help me understand, bro. God, I hate this so much. So one thing is, I'm not looking for help right now, but I know a lot of other people that are. I saw your latest video. Of course, the testimonial makes people buy, but at the end, you shout out Vaughn's TikTok. You probably know Pavlo on YouTube. I am a marketer, and I can't really see you at the same level as him. I see what he is doing that you aren't. Are you familiar with the webinar style that It is enabled now, yes. Perfect. Thank you, Mariam. So who wants to open up our boy Chizzy's, the screenshot that he sent, and tell me what I hate about his message? Because these are things that we've spoken about many times before. And Anas, if you want to also say what you think I hate about it. Like, what are the errors that you spot? I'll just throw it up here so we can all look at it. What do you guys think? This last message down here. I know a lot of people that are. I saw your latest video. Of course, the testimonials make people buy, but at the end, you probably know Pavlo. I'm a marketer. I can really see that you're at the same level as him. I see what he is doing that you aren't. Are you familiar with the webinar style that Russ Bruss uses? No, saying you're not or saying that you're a marketer is not a bad thing. I'll give you one more chance, and then I'll tell you what I don't like about it. Trying to sell services too soon, revealing that he's a marketer. I don't think there's any problem with trying to sell your services too soon. I don't think it's because you mentioned his competitor either. So if I look at it, I'm not looking for help right now, but I know a lot of people that are. I saw your latest video. Of course, the testimonial makes people buy, but at the end, you shout out Vaughn's TikTok. You probably know Pavlo on YouTube. I'm a marketer, and I can really see you at the same level as him. I see what he's doing that you aren't. Are you familiar with the webinar style that Russ Bruss uses? That's a lot. That's a lot of words. So it's kind of hard to read. It's a little bit confusing. That's the first thing I don't like. The next thing is that he has a setter in his DMs that's trying to set you right now, right? So you're not actually talking to him. You're talking to somebody who's on his sales team, which is one of the things that I think is like dumb about the people who say do Instagram outreach. Because like if you're targeting somebody who is a big name who's doing a lot of Instagram marketing, I know already that Christos's favorite Disney princess is Mulan because that's mine, and Christos is just my custom GPT who says whatever I want him to say. Wow, it would be Jasmine. Damn. Okay. Whatever. Hater. Any other Mulan fans in chat? Christos trying to show her the world. Thank you. I appreciate it. So you're right now not even talking to this guy. You just sent a message to someone on his sales team, which is an L. So strategically, like it just doesn't work. But let's say you were actually talking to him. You're saying a lot, and you're not saying a lot that matters. I'm not looking for help right now. Like that's contextually relevant, so I guess that's fine. I know a lot of other people that are. What does that add? I saw your latest video. Context, but you don't connect that to anything. It's just a throwaway, right? I saw your latest video. Of course, the testimonial makes people buy. What does that even mean? But at the end, you shout out Vaughn's TikTok. I'm sure that if I had context, I would understand what that means. But in this context of you trying to sell him something, what is, like, how does this connect to anything? He shouts out Vaughn's TikTok, and what? You probably know Pavlo on YouTube. Now it's a completely different subject. I'm a marketer. Different idea again. And I can really see you at the same level as him, so you're complimenting him, which is good. I see what he's doing that you aren't, which is a claim that you're not providing proof for. Are you familiar with the webinar style that Russell Brunson uses? And then again, just a random like idea that either he will or he won't know. But does he run webinars? If yes, then make a point about the webinars. If he doesn't, then this wouldn't matter to him. Like this would be something random. He might know who Russ Bruss is, he might not. So his latest video is a testimonial. At the end of his video, shouts out the guy's TikTok. Yes, he runs webinars. So if all of that is true, then what is the value that you're trying to offer him? You're trying to sell him. You want him to pay you to do CTAs. Like what are you trying to sell him? Just trying to frame myself as someone who wants to help him right now, so I gave him that idea, but in the end I want to write his YouTube scripts. So do you see how maybe this doesn't help you achieve your goal at all? Well, if he did want to hire you to write YouTube scripts for him, where is that in this message? And then another point is you're talking about like the CTA at the end, but here it doesn't really, like, you're not communicating effectively to say, hey, you should do a CTA at the end. And even if you did communicate that effectively, then you're just insulting him and you're saying, hey, your content's wrong and I'm right without knowing anything about your business. So a lot of errors in here. Strategically, I would just not do Instagram outreach to begin with. But if you do want to do Instagram outreach, then you will, in my opinion, need to get better at structuring how you approach these things so that you are, if you're trying to build rapport, then actually building rapport. If you're trying to just do a DM directly to a sale, then doing that. This is not either of those being done well. I'll let you get one last comment in and then we'll go on to Mariam. In your opinion, where should I do outreach? I have very specific thoughts, but because you sent me a screenshot of you doing Instagram outreach first, I feel like I need to ask, are you in the age range of 14 to 17? Damn, all right, then you're cooked. If I can play video games, stop thinking about getting a job. Like, what? Email would be much better than Instagram, but you can't really do LinkedIn. You can't really do um, Upwork. Upwork, you can't create a profile. LinkedIn, I don't know if you can create a profile if you're under 18, but even then, if you're a child, like nobody's going to take you seriously. So email would be the channel for you if you actually do want to do this. Okay, then yeah, I've talked about LinkedIn a lot in the past recordings. You can check that out. All right, Mariam, you made a. You told me it wasn't going to be long. This is 5 pages. Well, I like the layout. I like. Oh yeah, 100%. Age is definitely a factor. I would for sure not hire anyone who is young, like period. From a legal standpoint, that is not a smart move to hire someone who's not of legal working age. So it just depends on the age there. Quebec doesn't have a minimum working age, so I'd be safe if I hired a little Quebecois kid. See, Christos. But if someone were to, if someone were to come to me and say, like, let's say they are between 18 and 20, not child slavery, child choosing to engage in labor, and they don't have to pay a lot of taxes if they do. So it's very beneficial for the child as well. But if somebody comes to me and they're in the age range of like 18 to 21, I would immediately disqualify them because my thought would be this person is not experienced. They don't know what they're doing, right? If they can prove to me that they do, like Christos, for example. Christos, he's, I think, 21. If not, he's 22. But Christos, I've worked with him directly and I know how good he is. And Christos listens to my feedback and he changes everything when I ask him to. Christos is locked in. I would for sure hire Christos, and I'm trying to hire Christos with Dr. Mike, or I'm going to. I'm trying now. But if a random like 19-year-old came up and he was like, "Yo, bro, let me write your emails," I'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm 30." Like, I don't want to work with a child. First of all, like, what are we going to talk about? Fortnite when we have our lunch breaks, you know? But second of all, the fact that you're 19 means that you've done literally nothing in your life. So get some more reps in, and then we can talk. Not all kids are like that. Well, you just proved to me that you were with your Instagram DM, so I guess you are, at the very least. Yeah. I definitely have a bias. I would not hire somebody who's that young for lack of experience more than anything else. I'm legally able to marry at whatever age I want to. So I could be a child bride if I wanted to. But no, I would not. What if I'm a kid and I open my outreach with I'm not like other kids? I'm one of the sexy kids. No, I wouldn't personally, and I know that many other people would not. There are very rare exceptions. For example, me with Christos, Sean with Aaron, right? Like Aaron's very young as well. So these are people who we have relationships with. But if I received cold outreach from somebody who was under probably like 23, 24, unless if they came highly recommended to me, I would not even read the email. Some people get clients at 17 for sure. I'm just saying my personal bias is that I would not hire somebody that age. All right, Muravai. Very good layout. This is very attractive, very easy to read. So good work there, Mariam. Eliminate hard water effects, ruining your hair and skin with Muravai's 18-layer filtered shower head. Is your shower water making you miserable? Are you having a hard time with your skin and hair? You already know the heavy metallic water in your location is to blame. All right, headline. Let's play the 3-point game. 1, 2, or 3. 1, I would not read this. This sucks. 2, this is good enough. I'm going to keep going and see if this product is right for me. 3, I will immediately buy this based on the headline alone. How do you guys rate it? Yes, I can zoom in. Two from Mayank. Love the participation in chat. Thank you guys. 2 from Bobby. 2, 2. All right, cool. So I will tell you why I don't like it, and then I will tell you why I do like it. Or actually, I'll do it in reverse. So what I do like about it is that it's very clearly targeted, right? It's not filtered shower head is good, right? It's specifically your hair and your skin, and this is going to fix those problems that you have. That is so, yes, sometimes it's good to not ask questions in the headlines, but it's contextual because sometimes it is as well, I would say. Eliminate hard water effects, ruining your skin and hair with Muravai's 18-layered filtered shower head. What I do not like about it. Eliminate hard water effects are the first 4 words that I see. If I have the average human attention span, will I read much further than those 4 words? Potentially, but maybe not. So, with this very valuable real estate, does it make sense to use eliminate hard water effects? Are those the most powerful words that you can put there? What do you think, Mariam? Should have made the headline shorter. Not necessarily shorter. That's not what I'm criticizing here. What could be more powerful words? So I'll give an example because Yasen said higher up, which I agree with. Most of the time, don't ask a question if the user can't, or not the user, if the reader can't give you an answer. So here, what would be hard water? Yeah, exactly, right? Like it's very unclear what is hard water effects. So what if I said something like, I could do a stat here. So like my first thought was like 67% of people are suffering from this really sucky thing, right? But we could go with something like hair and skin suffering because of hard water. So this is an example of asking a question where it makes sense to ask the question in the headline. Because somebody who reads this, hair and skin suffering because of hard water, they could say no, click off, or they could say yes, I'm going to read more. And hopefully by the time they reach this page, they're educated enough, like they're high enough sophistication to understand what hard water is and who the fuck is highlighting this right now? Get out here, anonymous coyote. So we could do something like this, hair and skin suffering because of hard water. Or we could do something like hard water is ruining your skin and hair, right? The big thing that I'm trying to point out with this is that eliminate hard water effects is, I forget who said it, but someone said it was like vague, right? What are hard water effects? Ruining your hair and skin is the most powerful part here, right? So just starting straight off with hard water is ruining your hair, your skin and hair, or hair and skin, whatever, or hair and skin suffering because of hard water. If you, I don't know anything about this, but if you have like more specific claims that would make more sense here, for sure do that instead. But those are the first ideas that I have to make this hit harder more quickly. Oh, bro is highlighting it to copy it. Thank you for doing that, Anas. I appreciate it. And then here with Moravai's 18 layer filtered shower head, that I would move into the subhead. If we go to just like the logic of the headline narrative, if you're talking to a problem aware audience, and you might or you might not, by the time someone clicks through to this page, they've probably seen an ad that has the shower head in it, right? So they're going to be familiar with the brand name. They're going to be familiar with the concept of the 18 layers, whatever, if they saw an ad on Facebook and they clicked through. So just that big call out of hair and skin suffering because of hard water, or hard water is ruining your skin and hair. These would probably convert at exactly the same percentage. They're not different enough for it to make a difference. But then in the subheadline, instead of having this, I don't like this at all. Is your shower water making you miserable? Are you having a hard time with your skin and hair? Like none of this doesn't add any value to the narrative that I'm trying to set in the headline. You already know the heavy metallic water in your location, this is weird, is to blame. So why are you telling me if I already know? That's something that a lot of copywriters do. Yeah, that's a really good book. So I recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. Here, you're not telling me anything new in these top lines, and then here, you're not telling me anything new again in the bottom line. So all of this is basically worthless. If you start with hard waters ruining your skin and hair, and then you transition to mentioning the benefit and the product, and say something like, finally, the protection you deserve, colon, Moravai's 18 layered filtered shower head. Then you've gone from problem to solution to product. And with copy, if you've read the copywriting cheat code, you'll know that you want to go through each of the stages of awareness, right? Like you pick somebody up at one stage, your goal is to move them to the next stage, to move them to the next stage, to move them to the next until they're most aware and they're ready to take action. And all sales letters are structured this way. You get to the end, it's most aware, you start at the beginning, whatever the point is where they started. People are complaining and living in hard water areas. And where did you say hard water area? So you're not even using the VOC that you just told me you have. And then two, if they already know that, then you don't need to repeat it. Yeah, location is not area, Mariam. Like it's two different words. If you're going to use VOC, you have to use the words that they use. You don't just change the words based on the meaning of the words. If somebody says, I'm miserable because of how my skin feels, and then you say, are you sad because of the way your skin feels? I'm going to be like, no, I'm miserable, right? Like it's two completely different things. I think what also would be good is if it were, no, I disagree. I think advertorials are dumb in most cases. But what do I know? All right, so then after this headline, if you're structuring the page like this, I don't know if you got this from swiping somebody, Medium, or did you create the structure of the page and the design yourself? Okay, so a CRO technique, CRO conversion rate optimization. A CRO technique that everyone should be aware of is that your pages will convert better, usually, specifically in e-commerce, if you have a call to action above the fold. I landed on this page, and even if I wanted to buy this, I can't. Just look at what's available to me on my screen. Where's the button? It's all the way down here. So I can't take action even if I wanted to, even if her headline sold me. Why can I not take action? Because of this section here. These bullets could be with, or they could be lower, but they should not be what I see when I land on the page. Because if I'm landing on the page, I'm going to fall into one of a few different categories. Either I'm already ready to buy, right? Like the highest intent person, I'm already ready to buy. I just need to add it to my cart, click purchase. I want this. That's the way that I make purchases. Like personally, Jonathan, I see something, I want it. I don't read any of the copy, I just buy right away, which is horrible because I'm a copywriter. I should be reading all this stuff and studying it. But but those very high intent people, they'll just land on the page, they'll click. You lost those people, and those are your best buyers because they're just going to take action. Then one layer before that is people who are going to land on the page, they're not convinced yet, but they can just be convinced by what they see above the fold and they'll take action, right? There are some people who will just see this, for example, and they're like, okay, cool, I thought I wanted this, let me just get a little bit more information. Or maybe I just have one objection or two objections, and I see that you overcome those objections, or that you tell me that this has what I need. For example, I land on the page, and I'm like, I wonder if this is like something that I could just put easily into my shower, because last time I changed my shower head, I had a pretty rough time. Let's see. Oh, easy tool free installation, 5 minutes to shower time. Okay, cool, then it has what I need. Add to cart. So those people, they're still very high intent, very action oriented. Yeah, also check on both your mobile layout and your desktop layout. So you've got the people who are just going to land, they'll take action right away. You've got the people who need to overcome a few objections, or they have something holding them back, but they can still overcome those things above the fold. You can put the call to action there for them as well. And then once you get a little bit further from that, it becomes a little bit tougher because then these people are going to be less high intent. They're like, oh, does this actually work for my problems? Is this actually as good as they say it is? Are other people buying this and liking this, testimonials and stuff? So you can put a lot of that above the fold for sure, but there does need to be some extra explanation, which it looks like you did down here. So last time you showered, I noticed your shower head has. Well, last time we showered, I asked you not to talk about that. So, how do I know your name? I guess I'm just good like that. So this, I would move lower onto the page if you have it at all. I don't know what the rest of this copy says, like maybe it wouldn't make sense, but if we do keep it, it would be lower on the page for sure. How Moirai will transform your skin and hair for the softest feel and the healthiest shine. This is a crosshead. You don't need that above the fold, so that I would either remove or move further down. But let's say that this is above the fold. So we see the filtered shower head TM, 45 pounds sterling or $59.99 US dollars. 18-layer filtration system removes 99.9% of harmful contaminants, including chlorine and heavy metals. So this is going to be, maybe you have the answer, maybe you don't, but Paul putting me, damn, I was trying to keep an air of mystery, keep the kids guessing. But yes, I am a computer literate adult. So, Mariam, first question I would have is, if you look at the VOC, when people are talking about harmful chemicals in their water, do they specifically say chlorine and heavy metals? If yes, this is perfect. If not, then what I would do is say the things that they're talking about the most up here. So if, for example, someone says copper in my water, I don't know if that even makes sense, but if you see that the majority of people are saying copper and I don't know what's another heavy metal, copper and metallic. But just putting those things that people are specifically mentioning, because that would be what your VOC is, right? So calling those things out, and then because heavy metals is a big category, I imagine a lot of people would say those things. So maybe like chlorine, lead, and other heavy metals. 200% increase in water pressure, thousands of micro water droplets penetrate deep into skin and hair for intense hydration. These, is it, is this VOC that you saw? That people want more water pressure so that the water penetrates deeper into their skin and hair to hydrate it? Like, are all of those things together in your VOC? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, my first thought is 200%. That was just an added feature of the product. Yeah. So, my first thought is Jonathan, I like high water pressure for sure. Like, my shower at home, I've got a waterfall shower head, and I love it because it's just like you get soaked and it feels good, and it's just like it drips onto you, right? At Lena's, like I guess I bring that up to say like there's normal water pressure in my house. At Lena's when I'm showering at her place, the water pressure is crazy. Like I can't put my face under the water because it hurts because there's so much water pressure. And I know I can mess with the thing and like make it less, but it's a not the best shower head. So that is what I think of when I think of high water pressure. And if I think what I've got times two, that would be like what Lena's got, right? Like it's not a hotel room where it's barely coming, but 200% more feels like it would hurt. And then you go deeper into that by saying deep penetration for intense hydration. Like all of those words make me scared. Well, it doesn't matter if the water pressure has settings. You're telling me 200% increase in water pressure. Micro water droplets, which makes me think of micro needling, which is a painful process. Penetrate, which is scary. Deep into the skin, which is scary. How does water get deep into my skin? And intense hydration. Water isn't what hydrates my skin. It's what's on the inside of me that, like, if I was going to say liquefy myself. If I hydrate myself properly, if I drink a lot of water, then my skin's going to be healthier. And if I eat like vegetables and whatever. So I would not be attracted to this. I would actually be repulsed by this. And I think Paul feels the same way. So this bullet, definitely not good. All of your top bullets here should be based on your VOC, and it should be what are the biggest benefits, what are the biggest pain points, what are the biggest objections that people are saying. Does that make sense, Medium? Yes, perfect. Then clinically proven to promote healthier skin and hair, see below. This, who can tell me why I don't like this? So yes, proof is good, but the way that you're executing on this is not good. Adding extra work, part of it, yes. But if we think about CRO, the add to cart button is right here. If I say see below for proof of my claim, that means somebody has to scroll down, and now you just lost them in the page. There's all of this stuff now. And my CTA is all the way up here. So I am creating a reason for them not to click on the add to cart button. I don't think promote is really a complex word. So yes, complex words we should avoid, but I don't think promote is one of those. Because it's like it's one of the good neutral health words. Like support, promote, things like that. Because you can't say a definitive claim related to health. I can't say clinically proven to give you healthier skin and hair because there's just a lot of regulations around saying something like that. Then universally compatible fits all standard connections. That's an important one, and easy tool-free installation. That's an important one as well. I think these two are good. I think these two are not good. So changing it for VOC here. And then this one, if you can just mention whatever the clinical stuff is, for example, the way they do with toothpaste, like 9 out of 10 doctors recommend or say that Sensodyne is the best for enamel or whatever it is, right? Like you can say something like that. Proudly engineered in the USA, free worldwide shipping, 40-day is, I imagine that's supposed to say free. But who can see what I'm seeing here, where we've got proudly engineered in the USA? This is a very, like, you have to be paying attention this whole time to know what I'm talking about. Too patriotic, no such thing as too patriotic. Actually being very patriotic sometimes is helpful. But if we scroll up, your first price is listed in pounds sterling. Here you got proudly engineered in the USA. So are you selling to a British audience or an American audience? There is such thing as too democratic. You can't let the people vote because the people are dumb. Yeah, so it should be in dollars up here. Or if you were localizing your pages, you would remove that because no one who's buying in pounds sterling is going to buy something like this is not a benefit. If you're American, this could be a benefit, but if you're not American, this is valueless. Details that matter / specs, pick one. I don't know if you, like if this was just for me to tell you which one's better or you wanted this on the final page, but definitely don't have this on the final page. The Brits know who daddy is. Let me just give you a father react. Comes with a pre-installed filter, ready for immediate use, that's good. 4 adjustable mode settings, switch between rainfall, mist, mixed, and jet modes for a tailored shower experience. Scalp massager attachment, that sounds really cool. Stop button for total control, pause water flow instantly. Strong, ultra lightweight ABS plastic body designed to reduce hand strain. All right, so reading these, there's one of them that sticks out to me as not like the others because it creates an objection. Which of these 5 points do you guys read? And it creates an objection for you that now has stopped you from making the purchase. Filter, why? Stop button, why? What objection does it create for me to tell you that this shower head has a stop button? Where do I get exactly 100%? So that was my first thought here. If it comes with a pre-installed filter, I'm thinking, oh man, so there are filters that I have to buy for this thing? Where do I get the filters? What do I have to do? Like, how hard is it to then change my filters? All of these things come up. Because the water stops instantly, I get cold. So, well, then just, like, what? That's how showers work, Bobby. You've got to turn it off at some point. So this, to me, creates an objection of what is the whole situation with the filters. This is cool. This I like. And then these two, I guess. This, if you saw it in VOC, keep it. This, if you saw it in VOC, keep it. Otherwise, I don't know what the value is of having these. Like, I don't care that my water can pause because I can just turn the tap off, right? So that's not a very valuable feature. Strong, ultra lightweight ABS plastic body designed to reduce hand strain. Has anyone, I know nobody in chat, or I hope nobody in chat, but Mariam, did your research tell you that people are complaining about pain in their hands as a result of showering? I guess I do. I get pain in my hands just because I spend like 2 hours gooning when I'm in the shower, but that's more like forearm tendonitis. It's not really hand. Yeah, okay, so delete. Yeah, so in some countries it's more common to take the shower head off. So I'm just thinking a little bit more open-minded. So I would delete these 2 bullets because they don't really add anything. Plus, how to install. Do we feel like we need this in this top section of the page? No, I agree. Especially because we said this right up here. So I'm not really concerned at all with the installation because you already overcame that objection. If I am concerned with the installation, then it deserves its own section lower on the page. So I'm not saying this is bad copy or remove it. I haven't read it, right? But you don't need to remove this how to install part of the copy. You should just move it somewhere further down. That way, if people do have that objection and it's what's going to stop them from buying, then you can show them, okay, cool, here's how it actually works. Maybe it's a demo video. Maybe it's just a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 infographic. Whatever it's going to be, move it further down on the page if you want to keep it. About filter, unbiased results. This, do you guys feel like we need this here? No, exactly. We don't need that. So this, again, can be moved further down the page, but not necessary in the stop section. Enhanced shower kit options. This, do we need upsells here, or would the upsells be better if we put them on a different page after the person adds to cart? Maybe it comes in as a pop-up, because I don't know if you guys have seen this. E-com stores can do this, like the technology for this exists, where if I were to add the shower head to the cart, then either immediately with a pop-up or when I click to go to my cart with a pop-up, there would be something that comes up that's like either people who bought this also bought or accessories for your thing, like something like that, right? So these would be okay for that. But this is weird to have here. And then another thing is just the way that you're framing it, shower head enhancement kit. This, I don't know how relatable this is going to be to you guys. So this is just going to be me dimensionalizing based on my experience. If I'm buying this, me, Jonathan, like normal, average, like white countryside, Quebecois, like just random normal guy, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this looks like a cool shower head. It's only $60. I will gladly buy this. I see all these things and I'm like, what the fuck are these and what are they important for? Do I need these to make my shower head work? This looks like the stuff my grandfather would have in his house. Am I going to need my grandfather to come install this? Did they lie to me when they said easy tool free installation? Like, these definitely need tools. I'm not going to crank this onto the thing by myself with my hand. Like, I for sure need some kind of wrench to do that. And these replacement filters, like that's what they were talking about up here, which if we remove this or change this, I'm not thinking about it. But this, I'm like, fuck, so I need to buy filters too. I wasn't even thinking about that. This, what is this even? Like, oh, I don't even know how this works. Like, so you're saying without this, like this won't adjust? This is going to be stuck in one place and I won't be able to turn it or anything? That's crazy, right? So you're raising a ton of objections now by doing this. And then Teflon tape. I look at this, I'm like, why do I even need, like, if I'm someone who has no idea how to do home improvement and renovations and stuff, I'm like, why do I even need this tape? Like, what is the point of this? Can I use duct tape? I have duct tape. Like, is this just to hold my thing together? Like, there are so many things that now I'm thinking that are gonna stop me from buying this, just because you put these 4 pictures here with a little bit of text. Adding this, you don't need anyone in your home to install this to see your bathroom. I like that a lot. If, depending on the brand voice, you could say like, you don't need a plumber, or if you're more of a jokey, like fun, quirky, cute kind of brand, you could say something like, you won't even need to call your dad for the installation. Just depends on how you want to do it. If it's a very corporate neutral brand and they're selling like parts, then for sure don't do that. But with something like this, there is space to manipulate that. We'll end there because it's 3 o'clock my time. But Mariam, hopefully that gives you a good idea of things that you can change. And if next week you bring this back, we can look at it and we can continue to go through it. Of course, I'm very happy. So when I open this, I'll tell you one thing that I appreciate, Mariam. And for anybody else listening, this is how to get on John's good side. People DM me stuff, they ask me for reviews, they ask me for critiques, whatever. And they'll send me the worst stuff in the world. And I'm like, this is gross, and also it looks gross. I don't want to engage. Mariam, obviously not a super experienced copywriter, right? Like it's not like she's been writing copy for $1 million brands for 5 years. She's still practicing. She's still like beginner. I don't know exactly what level of beginner, right? But she's still beginner. She's still getting started. But I see this, and even though I know that she's beginner and that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time reviewing this copy and teaching her a lot of stuff, I see that she is putting in the effort at least to, if she laid it out like this, I know she watched the videos where I talk about how to do a proper portfolio and how to do proper spec pieces. So that to me says, this is just like an indicator to me. Okay, Mariam is spending time studying copywriting, which is a plus, which means I'm willing to invest more time in her because I know she's doing the work on her side by herself. And then I see the way that she's structuring it, very much the way that I would structure it. And I know that she's trying, right? She's trying to do stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's done right, right? So I'm like, she did model a page somewhat. Just based on what I see, I can tell that she did that. But I can also tell, and the reason why I asked was kind of to get her to admit, right? I can tell that she followed a structure because of the way that she did this, because of the way that she did this. But then I can also tell that she's trying to do her own thing because of the way she did this. So I know that she is putting in thought and she's putting in effort and she's trying to find that place for herself. That's the middle ground between copy somebody else's stuff and do my own thing and don't just rip somebody else straight up. That, of course, is a fine line because when it comes to design, CRO, like you just need to rip what's working. There's no creativity there. But Mariam didn't know that. She wasn't thinking about that. So it was just her mindset that she shouldn't copy exactly what somebody else is doing. And I appreciate that, right? So everything that I see when I open this tells me Mariam is someone who I'm okay investing my time in because she's showing me that she's going to take the feedback. She's already been working hard. She's going to take the feedback and she's going to continue working hard, but better now. So if you're in a position, and I actually spoke to a guy, Ben, about this a few weeks ago too. If you're in a position where you're asking somebody for help, if you have all of these little indicators, like these nonverbal indicators, that you're actually putting in effort and you're trying and you care and you're doing the work, then you're going to be a lot more likely to receive help. I know, for example, everything I tell Mariam, she's going to turn around, she's going to do it, she's going to try again, she's going to bring it back, it's going to be better. It's not wasted. There are a lot of people, when I started in the CC, I would do a lot of critiques, but I stopped doing it as much as I do. Like in the critiques channel, I don't do it at all because I know that the people who post in there, for one, they're putting in bare minimum effort most of the time. Two, they're not even rereading it before they post it. Like there's so many obvious errors that they would have caught if they actually cared. And then three, I'm going to give them feedback. Most of the time, they're not even going to apply it. So who cares about what goes up in the critiques channel? I don't, because I know that it's wasted time. Someone who does something like this, I know that this is worth it. And so I care about it. The whole mission with the CC is like give value and help people. So this, like, I don't care about doing stuff that takes up my time that I don't get any reward for, right? Like that's not the issue. The issue is if I do invest that time, the reward to me is that the person actually does better, right? Like if I can raise Mariam by the time, I forget how old she is, like 22, 23, 24, something like that. It's in her profile, I know. But she's like young 20s. 26 maybe. If she's 26, she's cooked. 22, okay. So Mariam at 22 years old, I started in 2019, which means that I was 24. So I started from zero in 2019. Mariam is starting from zero. I don't know what year you started, but we'll just say like pretend this is your first year writing copy, right? If you're starting from 22, that means you have 2 years on me. So by the time you get to my age, if you get the help and the good feedback and you practice a lot and you put in the work, you're going to be better at this age than I am. And then imagine if you're able to pass that on and you can help another young person be better than you are. And if that's the cycle that we create for ourselves within this community and in the copywriting world and marketing world in general, then we're helping everybody, we're helping the profession go up if we keep doing this with like good values and good ethics and we continue to all of us work together in the same direction, then life just improves for all of the people who've chosen this super niche little thing that we really like, right? So that's the whole point of it. seeing this from Mariam made me very happy. And so, Mariam, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to critique this. I think that the more you learn and the more you understand these baseline rules, the better it's going to be. And I think that you're going to be able to get very good very quick because of how much effort you're putting into it. So, on that, inshallah, we all go and write some really good copies today. But thank you guys very much for coming. Really appreciate it. I will see you all on next Friday. I will try next week to have the first little bit of the Beyond Copy strategy stuff done. So my target would be for one video before next office hours. And if it is one video, it'll be like overview of what is strategy and kind of how to think about it. If I manage to get 2 videos out, it would be the next video would be part 1 of strategy. But the first video would be what is strategy, and then the next video after that would be if you are starting a new offer, how to validate it, not validate it, like how to set your stuff up. The next video after that would be based on if you're running a campaign, or maybe I'll switch the order, but if you're running a campaign and how you need to optimize it. So the kind of stuff that we were looking at with the spreadsheets earlier, like strategy is really going to be the data stuff. And I want to start there because I feel like that's the biggest lift for a lot of you guys, understanding strategy and being able to get strategic rules. And then if we go into, or when we go into copywriting, it'll be more about messaging strategy. When we get into media buying, it'll be more about creative strategy. When we get into design, it'll be like designing stuff yourself just to get to a very baseline level, and how to communicate properly with designers and with video editors. And then with the MarTech, I'm actually going to do walkthroughs of like, here's how to build a landing page, here's how to build an email sequence, here's how to connect Zapier, all of those things. So that'll be a lot of tactical stuff too. Perfect. I'm glad that you guys love that. So again, thank you very much. Really appreciate all of you. I hope that you have a fantastic Friday and an amazing weekend. And I will see you all next week.